So what's going on, guys? Back to cover this NBA slate for Saturday. Happy Saturday. We have two more games tonight. Game 3 between the Celtics, Bucks, and the Grizzlies, Warriors. Picked both of the games right yesterday. Sixers ended up winning, and the Mavs ended up winning as well. This one, I'm expecting the home teams to win, although I think that the Grizzlies can take the spread at +7. But let's go ahead and get into it. As always, if you enjoy the picks, appreciate it for the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out all the socials down below in the description. Starting off with the point guard picks, we have Ja Morant. He's $10,300. He's coming off of a monster 70-plus point outing, and they're going to need him a lot today once again because Dillon Brooks has been suspended for this one. So you'd expect Ja Morant to have to take on a lot of shots. He's taken 31 shots each of the two games in this series. Been very aggressive, and that should definitely continue going into Golden State and into on the road and trying to stick with that high-powered offense. I like Ja Morant a little bit more than Steph Curry's 92. You can save 1,000, but I still think Ja Morant gives you a bigger ceiling. Curry did have a good game with the peripherals last game, but still I have more confidence in Ja Morant getting you those assists, getting you those rebounds on a more steady basis. Jrue Holiday, $8,100 at home. He looks fine as well. I like the Grizzlies game more to target, but in terms of paying up for a superstar, Holiday looks fine. Giannis would be the best one on the slate. Maybe Ja can compete with that a little bit. And then Jordan Poole, $7,200. Expect him to jump into the starting lineup once Gary Payton left. He was starting, and then in the first game, once Draymond got ejected, he started the second half, so he should be in the starting lineup, I'd assume, in place of Gary Payton. And he's a guy that has played really well for them since Steph Curry was injured for the middle of the season and hasn't really missed a beat in the playoffs at all. He's been their second best player, better than Klay Thompson. Smart is 62. Looks like he's going to play. It's an okay mid-range option, but I'd rather get down to like Derek White or D'Anthony Melton at $4,300. Derek White did draw the start last game in place of Smart, but Smart should be back today, so that makes White less appealing. 200 more. Give me D'Anthony Melton, who should. There's a chance he starts, but I'm expecting him to come off the bench. Even if he comes off the bench, you're looking at high 20s in minutes, probably at least 25 minutes, if not over 30, depending on how he's playing. Not having Dillon Brooks is going to be a big deal for them. They can go small in this series, especially now that the Warriors are starting 3 guards once again, and they will play a lot of their minutes with Curry, Klay, and Poole out there. Wiggins also playing the 4, but he's basically a small forward. So they're going to play small. Melton should be out there. They should have some minutes for Tyus Jones as well. There's just no need for the Grizzlies to play multiple bigs in this series. And then that's it. I'm not looking at anybody else cheaper than that. Over at shooting guard, really like D'Anthony Melton's price tag. At the top end, you have Jaylen Brown, $8,000. He's played really well last game, dropped 6 threes. They ended up blowing out the Bucks at home. Now he's going on the road here. I don't know if Milwaukee will let him get that open again, although they do give up issues, or they do have issues giving up threes, and they do give up a lot of them. But I don't mind Jaylen Brown, but he's not my favorite play. I really like the price tag on Desmond Bane here at 64. I know he had a tough game last time out, but chance that he was dealing with some injury. He was like probable or questionable heading into that slate, and it was a game time decision with the back injury heading into that one. He ended up playing. Now he has a couple of days off. Hopefully he feels better because they're going to need him if they want to have any shot at keeping this one close. Other pick would be Grayson Allen coming off the bench, and $3,400 for Pat Connaughton is also definitely not the worst thing in the world. He plays good minutes, over 20, probably can get you like 25-ish or so, and the price tag has continued to go down on him. He's at home now. He's a guy that you can go with and just get you some value to play Ja Morant to pay up for another superstar like Giannis if you wanted to. Over at power forward, your pay up is Giannis at 11.5. Going back to small forward, didn't really touch on that. You can go to Giannis 11.5 here. Tatum is 10K. I'd rather get up to Giannis today at 11.5 at home, but don't mind Tatum if you play a lot of teams. You can also go down to Jaylen Brown for 2,000 less. Wiggins been getting you a lot of rebounds in this series. He has 9 rebounds last game, 8 in the first game. He's okay fantasy pick. He's not going to go crazy most games, but he's going to play those minutes and can get you around 6x or so and be a pretty good value at his price tag, especially where there's nobody else being in that 5K range. The 4K range and the 3K range, Grayson Allen looks fine. Otto Porter looks like a good value. He's only $3,700. He's going to get more minutes off the bench now that Gary Payton is done for weeks with that elbow injury. So Porter should get more minutes. He's the guy that can get you rebounds, and if you want to play small, they can play Porter at the 5 at times. But I really like Zaire Williams at 32 just to get to another value Grizzly pick. He's played 28 minutes last game, played really well. He was starting for most of the season, and you'd expect him to start today as well in place of Dylan Brooks. So I think they'll bring Melton off the bench and stick with Williams, who played well for them, played good defense, and hit some open threes. At power forward is where I'll be able to pay up for Giannis at 11.5, just with some of the value that we plugged in at the other spots. Other picks at power forward would be getting to like Jaren Jackson at only 63. Once again, that Jaren Jackson, he only shot 3 of 14 last game. Expect him to play a lot better. Bobby Portis, 61. He also looks like a good value. Only played 26 minutes, but that was a big blowout loss for them. Normally he's playing over 30. So those two look appealing. Brendan Clark coming off the bench, but still gets those solid minutes. I like his price tag a bit. Disappointed last game with only 17.5, but still has shown that big ceiling, and he's the guy that they like to give the center minutes to. And then, I like those guys more than like Wiggins, Horford. Not really looking at Grant Williams much. Other picks would be Porter or maybe Kyle Anderson if you play a lot of teams. And then last but not least, over at center, your top end is Draymond at 68. He looks okay at home. I like some other guys. You can get it to Poole for only a couple hundred more. Jaren Jackson looks good if you want to stick with the Grizzlies. I think looking at least like 4 Grizzlies probably will be in my lineup just with the value that we have. Maybe 5 if I wanted to push it. I like Portis' price 61. I like Brendan Clark, but then you have Robert Williams as well at only 48. He was in foul trouble last game. Didn't really get it going, but didn't really need him to play that well with Jaylen Brown just knocking down threes and other players stepped up. But they said he's not on a minutes limit. The fouls just kind of hurt, and so people look at the box score, see he only played 25 minutes. They might jump off of him, but he's a guy that does give you minutes upside over 30, can have a big game with blocks, and in this series he can get you some baskets right at the rim with Brook Lopez not really wanting to defend anybody down low. So that's what I got. Leaves you with a good amount to left to spend on your last few spots, but really like this slate. I like these games better than the ones yesterday, which were lower scoring and had some defensive minded teams. With the Sixers play good defense, Miami play good defense, and then Dallas been one of the better defensive teams. This one should be more higher scoring type of slate. So that's what I got for DraftKings. Let's go ahead and look at FanDuel. All right, over on FanDuel, still like to get up to the 2 superstars that I paid up for on DraftKings if I can. If I had to pick one, it would be Ja Morant at 10.8. They have no matchup for him. Nobody to stop him, especially with Payton going down. Now he's going to be going up against, they probably have Clay on him, but still Clay isn't as fast as he used to be. Ja Morant can blow by anybody on that team, so really like his price tag at 10.8. Like him to get way more fantasy points than anybody else that are even closely similarly priced. Like him a lot more than Holiday, like him a lot more than Curry. You can go down to Poole if you wanted to go with the mid-range play at 7K. You should get good minutes, and then they priced up DeAnthony Melton up to 55, but he's still not the worst play. If you need some more savings, you can go down to his teammate, Tyus Jones, which should still get 20-plus minutes or so. Over at shooting guard, big price tag on Jaylen Brown, almost 9K. I'd probably like to get the guy at home, Jrue Holiday, more. Poole looks like a fine option, but then you have good price tags down here with Klay Thompson is only 62, Desmond Bane is 58. Decent price tag on Marcus Smart as well. And then going further down, you have Grayson Allen as a potential play, but really like Desmond Bane's price tag, 58. He's only 300 more than Melton. He didn't have as good of a game last time out, but definitely can bounce back if he's feeling better with his back injury. Small forward, look to get up to Giannis. Both Giannis and Ja are pretty nicely priced, especially Giannis' price tag has come down on FanDuel. We've seen him be close to 12K at times during the season. He's only 1,000 more than Tatum, and that 1,000 is basically like 6 fantasy points or so type of difference. I think Giannis can get me a lot of fantasy points today at home. I think the Bucks will win this game. Other picks would be like Klay Thompson more than Wiggins. For only 100 more, I feel like he has more upside, even though Wiggins might have a higher floor. Zaire Williams up to 47. Priced up, but still an okay play. Maybe you can go down to other values instead, like Porter at 41, Connaughton at 4,000. Over at power forward, once again, looking to target like the Portis, Brendan Clark, Jaren Jackson range. You even have Robert Williams at 51 there. Both Portis and Clark are nicely priced. Jaren Jackson is kind of priced a little bit more expensive on FanDuel, so he's not somebody that I'm looking at too much. Probably like to get to Clark instead at $5,600, but I'm going Portis at home, 59. He had like 13 points last game, but it was a blowout, so he didn't play very many minutes, but he's been pretty consistent for them all series. And then last but not least, at center, I'm not looking to get up to Horford at 72. I'd rather get to his teammate for 2,000 less. Robert Williams, especially on FanDuel, give you those upsides for blocks and steals, and just a matter of time before he has a game over 30 fantasy points. He even has those big 40-plus point outings in his bag. So that's about it for the FanDuel picks and the DraftKings picks. Thank you for watching. I'll post some prize picks on Twitter if you wanted to play them. But best of luck tonight, and I'll see you all next time.